Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Ashna.
Now, Sibanye-Stillwater's CEO believes that while the decarbonization of the global economy will be the greatest ever investment opportunity, those companies that don't adapt will be left behind.
Yes, it was a great way of expressing it. Neil Froneman, he used to do motor racing and he always gets going very, very fast. And you can see the same with his own going green and decarbonizing. He's doing it quickly. He's going to beat the target dates, I'm quite sure. But what he said is, it's such a big opportunity. And he was quoting Larry Fink of BlackRock, who's like a philosopher of business. And he's saying this is the greatest ever opportunity in our lifetime, decarbonizing your world. And if you don't, you're going to come short. And I think that they are absolutely correct. But the tragedy is some people are still holding back. And that was one reference made yesterday by Neil Froneman. There's still the doubters. But there's no reason to doubt because this is real. And it's got nothing to do with countries. It's got nothing to do with whose economy you are attached to. It's got nothing to do with any religion or any other issue. This is real. The threat of climate change is huge. And it will make COVID-19 look like a Sunday school picnic. So you've got to work at it. And so he's saying, yes, you've got to, and we want to do good for the world. But at the same time, it's a huge opportunity. So he's going into it, head over heels. And he's already made 4 acquisitions into green metals. He's expanding the whole idea of, the hydrogen economy following, which is so good for platinum group metals. And we see that perhaps he is ahead of some of the others. But everyone is talking about it in the platinum business, no doubt about that. And of course we see, Anglo-American Platinum actually doing something real themselves with this green hydrogen economy, making sure that some of the vehicles can work on that, which is going to replace diesel, very, very important. But again, it's good that these business leaders emphasize this all the time because there's so much to be made for it, particularly us in South Africa. And at the same time, they announced their renewable energy plans. They've got a solar plan of 50 megawatts already in the bag. It's also linked to wind energy for their gold operations. Then coming up is a total of about 570 megawatts in all. And you can see that there's a program for each and it's moving. And that is the big backbone. You've got to have that renewable energy, you've got to have the storage, and of course the hydrogen can be the storage as well. So massive things that should be done, and it's good that they're doing it quickly, although you always see this 2050, a lot of them are bringing it to 2040, some to 2030, as with Sibanye-Stillwater.
Speaking of renewables, Zimplats has a 185 megawatt solar approval.
Yes, and this sort of shows up South Africa. Here you've got Zimplats next door, already giving a license for 185 megawatts to Zimplats, which is linked to our Implats. But Implats hasn't got anything like that here. Okay, it's maybe they are not strategically in thinking the same at this point in time, but it shows you that, next door you've got a government that is concerned and quickly gives this license for solar power. And the urgency in Zimplats and Zimbabwe isn't as high because they've already got hydropower. So they're already green. Now, what they'll do is during the day they will use the solar, and that will put less strain on the hydropower, allow it to be spread elsewhere, which also spreads greenness. But they are going to be totally green. They're really totally green. But of course, the hydropower has presented problems because of droughts there. So now this new thrust is to get the sun to do it during the day, get the hydropower to do it during the night, and that gives other people a chance. So I think the government is acting wisely there next door. Maybe we should be more enthusiastic, show some good enthusiasm around this, like our neighbours are showing also in Zambia. And you can see in Namibia, even Botswana, going better than I think we are in terms of mental approach.
Lastly, Martin, with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, will the supply of platinum group metals be hampered in any way?
It was good that Implats, particularly Nico Miller, the CEO, he allayed the fears that this would be the case, that our platinum could be hit, because of course, Russia is a big platinum, but mainly palladium producer. But the 2 million plus ounces that they produce of palladium, China alone absorbs more than that. So the thinking is now that it's not going to really hurt this industry to any great extent. And then when you look at coal mining, suddenly you see Europe perhaps having to look at higher quality coal. And as Exoro was saying yesterday, look at us guys, because we can give it to you right away. So perhaps there will be pluses for us. It's hateful to say because it's such a tragic business, in Ukraine with children having to run for their lives and people being blown up and buildings so unnecessary, no real provocation there, and such an unwillingness now to even start talking about it and cease firing. And you can see the tension building up. And I was listening to a South African who got caught there, and she was saying it was horrific because it's freezing cold and you've got to move and the trains aren't there and you've got to sleep in the trains. She slept in a train for 24 hours. She said, and then people get so freezing that they take your clothes, they take your stuff, and they get so hungry they just take your food. So she says it is a real battle, but getting into Hungary, she crossed over into Hungary, and she said there was a guy named Peter. She doesn't even know his surname. This guy fed them, did everything to them. So, some of the neighbors are really looking after, and this is a young black South African, really expressing a lot of anxiety, studying medicine in Ukraine and just having to flee. And she says she's feeling so sorry for the men because men are held back because they're meant to help, with resistance. So tragedy there, and so needless, and such a 21st century aberration. I would never have thought this would have happened.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.